Oh, okay.
Hello.
Hello everyone, how's everything?
Very, very good. Today we are expectant because there is so little left before we can experience this world mood anew. As I said, you have been working on everything that is preparation, which I imagine many nights going to bed very late, many meetings, a lot of coordination. And also, in particular, you with a support role for the contingents of the American continent from the Inter-American Scout Office of Refining Details, responding to queries, providing information. Therefore, we thank you that today you also took the time to join us in this Patio Scout connection to tell us what all this is about, what is missing, and that the cards are already on the table.
Dear Marisa.
Thank you so much, guys. You know that for me, Patriots score in my house too, right? We have already had the opportunity to chat to so many other topics. So I sit down. Very happy to be here. I don't know. I feel very happy to be here sharing a little of what this great event is going to be, especially because we have an expressive participation there, not from the Inter American region. We have many contingents there that come from our continent and also large contingents, such as contingents from Chile itself, Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, not without forgetting, of course, other contingents that are our brothers. They are a little smaller, but that they deserve the same attention. No, it doesn't matter if they are from Bolivia, if they are from the Dominican Republic, if they are from Curacao, which will also be present too. I mean, we are very happy about that from the team, from the organization of the event, right? And we have super involved contingent chiefs there. I didn't want to make any special mention because they are really all people who are very involved, very concerned about bringing the best experience of the event to their participants. I mean, then I'd like to say that too, that the rovers are the ISTs, not our service team. They have the happiness of having hawks who are not heads of contingents, who are surely putting all their dedication, all their attention, all their commitment to serve in the best possible way so that everyone has a great experience. The Yarmat that is already approaching. There, like he told me himself, he said, for me there are only 14 days left because from the 22nd I will be in Portugal. For many of you, I will be the little face that will receive you at the airport, at Lisbon airport. Will I be there? Yes, well, and this also makes me a lot of happy to be able to each to some colleagues that we have been talking all these months and years. No, in our meetings with the contingents, I have seen our previous partner talking about Portugal. I think that was some great advice. In other words, we are going to have this change, not the temperature. That's why a lot of attention. No, I mean, you got to hydrate a lot, huh? You always have one, a coverage. I mean, 111 cap, make a hat, a cap. But I would like to say that Portugal also has different temperatures. So possibly on the routes, what detail are more than 120 routes? No, I mean the pubs, there are even routes on the islands. Some of our boys have had good luck to say this luck or this opportunity to be able to participate in the routes that are on the islands. But we also have, especially in Maker, a more pleasant temperature. So I recommend, of course, it is not necessary to carry a super cold sleeping bag, not a snow one, but to carry there, I would recommend having 111 pleasant sleeping bags. The maker does not stop for these more pleasant temperatures, but the base camp that in Busaquinho Park is. Next to the beach, it is right on the beach. That is at the end of camp.
It arrives.
Is the beach here? Yes. Yes, you get to the water. There are even some teas who are already looking for their experiences. Not that they are going to have their days off, and some are going to spend the day on the beach to have a beach picnic. When the participants, Lord Rovers, arrive at the make, and there will be activities on the beach. And I also tell you that this is a much cooler climate, much more pleasant. There is a lot of vegetation, a lot of trees in the park. It is very pleasant. I was in Porto about 2 weeks ago for one last meeting in person. And the temperature was at night and it was around 25.
Of course, there we are showing the map of the park on the screen.
Pusaki Park.
The nearby beach called Musaquinho is ideal for sailing and other water activities.
So, just as I said, come on, we are going to be part of the Musaquilo Park, which is enormous, large. And I'm also telling you, some people are saying, oh, but we are going to have about 8,000 people camping and that behaves in space. Yeah, you have to be calm. Yes, the only thing that we are asking all participants is that they bring their tent. But let it be an individual tent. No, I mean, I know that there are states to have, that there are wonderful tents that look like a chalet, not 234, but we ask that they be individual tents, not to accommodate everyone in the best way. Yes.
Hey, Patricia. Well, the program, we finally said it in the last few days, and all the activity in this base camp for the closure to meet and all those who have been traveling to different places. But it has 111 parts. Basically, the first half is not true of the camp program. It is that it is these paths that will be traveling more than 120 routes. How? How has that organizing process also been like? Because each path integrates participants from different countries who will also have the opportunity to meet in person there. Just as you are going to receive and you are going to put a face, just as I am the one who has been sending messages to those we have spoken to, now they are going to find out what is that like for those who have never had a similar experience. And they are preparing to go into this mood with all the expectation of saying, hey, who am I going to meet? How am I going to do it? Where am I going to go? What are these paths?
Very interesting, very good question, because in reality, this lot is very particular, right? Obviously, we have already had so many other decisions from so many other much, but there is an added component to this much, which is the path leads. No, I mean, the routes have already been developed by young participants, also that they are the path leaders, not that is the route leaders, then these route leaders. They have developed into a team, not that team of park leaders that always had young people, also Portuguese, because of course they know their territory. They have proposed that they have developed the activities that the participants will be able to have these experiences in each one of the passes. So from this, it is the first novelty, great novelty, that having an event built. For the participants too, that is for from the first point, second point, that each pub has 50 people, that is a route, a pub, and within each route, within each pub. We have the patrols there, so the participants, I am from the pub of Route 66 and they are from Patrol 1, because we are going to have 5 patrols there in case there is a very, very simple account. There we have, in addition to the pack leaders who are participants like the others. The participants have a whole support team to that route to that piece, with logistics, with other things necessary so that it can develop well. Just as we also have the perfect visors. The perfect visors are not aists. What are they? What? Yes, they will be there to support the participants. Los also has the role of listening ear and safe for heart. That is also very important, so that everyone feels safe, welcomed, and secure on each of the routes. There's a point, another issue that I know. On the basis of other recent international experiences, it is a matter of great concern to some contingents and even to some participants. It's just that everyone, every pub, every route has had their risk assessment. So every one of the contingent leaders has received a book, so to speak. No, a document that contains all the assessments of all the risks of each of the routes. Obviously, there is no serious risk. No, you are going out for a walk. Are you going to make a chinoy or something? But obviously, all the risks were there, mapped and known, and we have all the protocols for every one of these risks. Another important point is the Portuguese Scout Federation, which is the host organization of this event. With the two associations, they also have a civil protection team dedicated to the event that is going to be mapping on time. That is, it is going to be mapping in real time of each of the routes, and I'm going to have 111 central rooms monitoring of every route, of everything that can happen. Everyone knows what there is. In Portugal, for example, we have already had episodes of fires, of things that can happen in summer. That is why we have a concern there. Even more, and that is why all this concern, all this team dedicated to preventing the risks of all the protocols, all the Portuguese authorities are also aware of each of the routes where our participants are going to go. So I also wanted to make this very clear. And guarantee the participants and the contingents of all are concerned for safety, that it is a great experience, that the participants know that they will always have the listening ear equipment at hand, the active listening equipment of all equipment, also of safe for hand, that is. All damage prevention equipment. So I wanted that too. I also wanted to tell the participants to enjoy it, as Mauricio said. How? What is this experience like? Some of our participants who just turned 18, for example, in 2020, were boys who unfortunately we are in the middle of a pandemic, right? In other words, we surely miss living your outdoor scout adventures very much. So I wish all those participants that it is a great event that they can be very excited about. Let it be an event that I can make many friends, which are friendships that last for life. I had the happiness of participating in some international events John Body, other events. And I have friends who to this day with more than 40 years old, I carry these friends in my collection.
Yes, Patricia, about since you are mentioning safety prevention, the issue of fires occurred to me as Chile is a seismic country. I don't know what Portugal is like, if it is a country that has tremors, earthquakes. The issue also now with all this climate change in many cities, there are, I don't know, hurricanes or similar things. I don't know if that is also part of prevention issues or accidents that may occur.
We have said all the mapping of all possible related problems related to climate change. But luckily, Portugal is not a seismic country. Like, yes, well, it is like
Chile, yes, I have one over there.
one. No, I can't lie because history in the Iberian Peninsula, everything. We all know the well-known earthquake that has reached Spain. Then, of course,
It shakes, but not as frequently as it might elsewhere.
being in no, what would it be like, right? What would Chile be like? No, what would Italy be like? No, so this too, no, let's not expect any mailbox. Come.
No, not hurricanes, no.
We are not waiting, although we are prepared, because of course you always have to be prepared so that whatever it may be, but no.
And the support of the government of the state of Portugal, what is it like? How did this link of the government, which is also super important, especially if there are going to be thousands of young people who are going to be touring the country?
Of course, there is strong support at that level, which I would say as if it were a provincial level, that is especially from the region. And I'm not saying about the region of the cause, I am saying about the region of the country, which is the region of Porto. No, precisely because it is the region where the participants are going to concentrate the most, which are the point of entry, then Lisbon. But it was the country's capital then, and I think the fact that we have as the entrance camp and the opening ceremony, then in Tejo Park, then where the WID ceremony took place, that's very symbolic too, isn't it? In other words, that shows a lot of the government's support for the event. So on the one hand, another thing is also in that the authorities,
But
the authorities, especially civil protection, that is to say the LA, the armed forces, all the civil protection equipment, all that also in every country are there. I bet I'll say for the event. So I can say that there is a lot of support also to say that any participant that if you have a problem and have to be taken to, for example, a health center, or there are public health centers in the country, then this is noticeable as the country, as the government is involved in it, is present in the event.
Hey, Patricia, the program offering, and we have already said it several times, it is in different places. Does security also have this institutional governmental support? You have looked and you have evaluated and you have reviewed every one of these tours, because we are talking about more than 120 different tours with 50 people from all over the world in parallel and at the same time in different places. And therefore, it seems interesting to me when you mention this operations center of being monitoring where they go and why there is that control, that safeguard. You also told us that they arose from the interests and proposals of the participants themselves to finally put together these tours. But what are the activities that you are going to do
During these 4 or 5 days that you are going to be touring different places, is there a theme, I imagine, of tourism, but also how is it linked to the local community? How are the scouts going to impact the people of the places they are going to visit?
Very good questions, Marisol. Well, the routes are divided into different areas of interest, although everyone is going to pass through these different areas. In other words, we are not going to have a pub that is a route that is only historical or only adventure, not within the same route. There are all these elements, but each one of the route has a heavier weight. On a certain route, then, for example, the route that goes to the islands, not to the Azores, this route is more focused, can we say, on adventure. We can have another route that goes to the city of Braga, for example, and that has a component, a very strong historical element, since a Roman city then, and each interaction with the community is going to depend a lot also about how the activities are developed, right? That is how that piece is developed. We may have some that are more of a service. We have others that are more, as I said, adventurous, another more historical, another more political. So it's going to depend on each one. I don't know you. I don't know much about you because there are many surprises, and so I can't do much.
A lot of spoilers, but of course, the important thing is it's like in this exhibition or presentation. It is to understand the logic behind it, which is to link with the country. It is not true from the aspects of nature, the tourist, also with the human, with the cultural.
Okay.
And leave a footprint. I imagine that is also why the issue of service, it's played with more emphasis or less emphasis anyway, depending on the place. But I mean, hey, scouts came by here and what did they do? They just came to meet. They didn't come to meet, but they also came to leave his positive mark. And in that sense, I imagine that guiding and accompanying these paths is no less because it is also to a certain extent ensuring that the MOOC project, the MOOC program, is carried out in a way that is not going to do tourism to Portugal.
No, no way. Absolutely correct in no way. No, isn't that the proposal of La Rama? Robert, no, that's a very strong service proposal of that rowing your own canoe, not your own boat, your own canoe. That is that you be the protagonist in this adventure of discovery, and that it is not just being there watching, that it is a person that gets involved with where you are there. Well, that's so it was that there is a very important part of the month that I have seen that perhaps many people have not realized the importance of this activity than the youth forum that is going to occur. In the world on day 3, I would say that we are in Porto, this forum, that each contingent has been able to choose 2 people from their contingent to participate. And we also have some places there for those who have also applied and presented themselves. And that I also wanted to be part of this forum. It is going to be a very interesting experience because this forum that the participants will be able to be there just to listen to the voice of young people about the new global strategy. No. In other words, we do not have a new strategy for the Scout movement of listening, and we want to listen, and members of the World Committee will be present. In other words, the members of the World Committee are going to be there listening. They are going to be there talking to these young people, knowing their opinions. And for me, this is a great opportunity to listen precisely to the demands, concerns, and ideas of these young people. Besides this moment, we're going to have another moment, also AME and camp, which is called the Young Parliament.
Of course, because it is opening the space for protagonism and participation of those who are the protagonists of the program, of the scout activities. Look, we want this, we imagine this, we would like this then from the participants of the mood to express what they feel and what they expect, what they believe. And on the other hand, from those in charge, and as you said, as listening to the other side, it is listening. So it is to generate this great global opportunity because furthermore, the needs of Latin America are very different from the needs of Europe or Africa or Asia. Each region has its particularities, has its needs, and in a global event they meet, and we have to see which things coincide and which do not in order to work together and continue moving forward together.
And it's a great opportunity. Mauritius, we have 127 countries that are going to be there. That is, we have the opportunity at least to have 127, 130, 140 young people when we could have an opportunity like that. No, especially now that we no longer have the World Youth Forums. It seems to me that this moment it is so symbolic and so significant, so important there. And when I say of the 127 countries, I am very proud because we have 20 countries that come from Operation Solidarity, which are young, which thanks to the support and a fund from Wolson, you will be able to participate. You will be able to have this opportunity to have this beautiful experience that they participated in an event like the MUT. And
In the case of Inter-America, there are people, there are countries that are part of this solidarity project so that young people can participate in this global event.
Mauricio, no, but they are indeed in solidarity. Because precisely Operation Solidarity, these 20 countries are from regions that practically had no countries participating. So a choice was made, and one concern, a prioritization of countries and regions that had practically no participants. So they are mostly countries in the African region. Just now the importance that is me.
80 agreement, for example, 80 is going to have young representation.
Well, I'm not sure. No, I can't tell you. I don't want to screw up and say there they are. I remember the islands and the Caribbean. Yes, we are with Curacao. We are with Dominican Republic. This Caribbean thing, I tell you from memory, yes, no. In the Dominican Republic, they go with 20 participants. I leave a big kiss to Nicole that the head of the Konting People Care also comes. She comes with a car, smaller people, but she will also be present there. But I would need you.